Well, a variety of factors, I guess. I mean, we're certainly in terms of, say, developed markets, seeing a lot better tone to some of the data coming through, and closer to home here in Asia and the Asian emerging market space. Again, it's a mixture of confidence with regard to global growth, and perhaps coming to terms finally with some of the bigger policy changes. I'm thinking here specifically of things like QE that we have to confront later this year and further into next year. That's a very difficult question because obviously one can't predict how these things will work out. In general terms, our expectation is that these will not have a major impact on the markets in which we invest. I mean, our area of expertise is really in the global emerging market space and Asian and Indian and Chinese equities. So if we think within that universe of the upheavals that we've seen, let's say in Egypt, over the course of the last 6-9 months or so, that the impact on markets and economies, clearly it's having an impact, but a fairly transient impact. Businesses continue to operate, shops continue to open, people continue to live their lives as best they can. I'm not obviously looking to minimize the impact of what's happening in the Ukraine or in the Middle East, but the reality is, as far as possible, business continues. Closer to home again in Thailand, they've had a very disruptive experience over the last 6-9 months. But again, we're starting to emerge from that. And although we've had very weak economic growth in the first quarter, I think we can look forward to a much stronger second half there. We are fairly optimistic on the outlook for India. I mean, the market is obviously one of the region's better performing markets year to date. It's up, 26% or thereabouts in US dollar terms, having put in a very strong performance in the latter part of last year, all about Mr. Modi, of course, and the election result 2 or 3 months ago. You could argue the market's got a little ahead of itself short term, but I mean, our basic view is that the sorts of reforms and changes that Mr. Modi will engineer paint a much more optimistic picture for growth in India on a 2, 3, 4, even 5-year timeline.